Hi fellow book lovers, it's me Sophie and welcome to today's video. So today I'm doing the mid-year book freakout tag. So if you don't know, it's a series of questions that you answer about the midpoint of the year. So it's about halfway through July. So I thought this was as good a time as any to answer the question. Oh my god, my cat. So starting off with some stats, so far this year I've read 31 books and a total of 10,643 pages. So that's a lot of books for me. At this point last year, I probably had read about 10 books or maybe even less. So I'm really impressed with myself that I'm able to read that many books so far, which even though it's not like a ton, it's a lot for me. So the majority of my books are medium paced, emotional, lighthearted, and also dark, which I know are like sort of opposites, but that's just what Storygraph says. And my most read genres are romance and contemporary. So moving on to the first question. The first question is, best book you've read this year. The best book I've read this year is hands down One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have talked about this book several times. Just look at all the like how much I tabbed it. Like all these just quotes just resonated with me. I've talked about this so much on my channel and on my Instagram. It's just one of those books that just sticks with you and you just can never get it out of your head. I still think about it. It just resonated so heavily with me and made me sob and feel emotional. And it was also beyond that, it was just an amazingly well-written book. And it was so entertaining, and I just didn't know what was gonna happen, and I was flip-flopping right along with the character with Emma. And yeah, it was just a fantastic book, and it's just my top of the year so far, and I'm really glad I read it. Question 2. Best sequel you've read this year. So I have 2 for this one. So I have Heartstopper Volume 2, and I have The Wicked King by Holly Black and The Heartstopper Volume 2 by Alice Oseman. And these books are just amazing. Let's start with this. So of course I've read the whole Heartstopper series. I'd say this one and the third one are my favorites. The third one's definitely my favorite, but this is the best sequel I've read. It's just so good, and it's just so wholesome, and you get to know a lot about the other side characters too in this one, which I really appreciated. And it was just so good, and I just loved getting to see their romance start to bloom. It was just fantastic. And then looking at The Wicked King by Holly Black, this is the second in the Folk of the Air series. It's the sequel to The Cruel Prince. The Cruel Prince is a 5-star read for me. I loved it so much. This was only a 4-star, but I still really enjoyed it. I loved getting to read about Cardan and Jude's relationship and just Jude being a badass in general. It was just amazing. It was so good. Would recommend, especially if you're dipping your toes into fantasy. The third question is, new release you haven't read yet but want to. And that would be I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. So cool thing about this, I actually watched a live question with Becky Albertalli and Casey McQuiston on Barnes & Noble. So I actually got this special edition I Kissed Shara Wheeler with the purple because I watched that and I bought a ticket to it. So that's cool. I'm not really 100% sure what this is totally about. I watched the live, so I have some information, but I think it's some sort of mystery mixed with romance, and I'm very excited to read this. I'm probably gonna read it this month or next month. I'm not sure yet. Don't hold me to that. But I'm looking forward to it, and I love Casey McQuiston. I loved Red, White, and Royal Blue. It's one of my favorite books. It's just so good, and so I think she does really good with queer representation. So I'm excited to read this and get some more LGBTQ romance, which is just one of my favorite genres. So the fourth question is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and that would definitely be Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. I adored The Love Hypothesis. It was my favorite, either my second or my first favorite book of 2021. It might have been tied with Verity by Colleen Hoover, which I also loved. But I really, really enjoyed The Love Hypothesis. So I'm really excited for her next full-length novel. I've read her novella, Stuck With You, and that was okay. But I think she does a lot better with full-fledged novels. So I'm excited about this. And I really like the STEM and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure this one has STEM in it. It might not, correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm really, really excited for that. And that comes out in August. And I've already pre-ordered it, of course. So question 5, biggest surprise of the year. I'd say my biggest surprise of the year, I don't have the physical copy because I read it on my Kindle, was how little I liked Addicted to You. Literally every single booktuber and bookstagrammer I've ever watched or looked at loves the Addicted series, and I just really didn't like it. I've talked about it a little bit on my channel. It just wasn't for me. I just found the characters really annoying and selfish, and I found it repetitive and boring, and I just didn't enjoy the romance. I did enjoy some of the side characters, but I will not be reading the rest of the Addicted series just because I really didn't like the main characters. They weren't for me. Question 6, favorite new author. This is a little bit of a tough one for me because I have read a bunch of new authors, but I'd probably say TJR, Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've only read this book of hers, but I really enjoyed it. And like I said, it was my favorite book so far this year. And not only was it my favorite book, but the writing was just so captivating and so amazing and enthralling. I just could not pull myself away from it. Like, I was buddy reading this and I couldn't help but read ahead. It was that good. I just enjoyed it so much, and I enjoyed her writing style so much, and I can totally see myself reading more of her books, and I look forward to reading more of her books as well. I've actually read Daisy Jones and the Six, and even though that wasn't my favorite book, I really liked the writing style and the formatting of it, and I thought that was really unique and interesting. So she's definitely a favorite of mine. Okay, this is the 7th question, newest fictional crush, and that would definitely be Charlie Lastra from Book Lovers. I loved him. I thought he was so cute, and I loved his humor. I love dry, like, deadpan humor, and he was full of that. And he was also so sweet to Nora, and he was always there for her emotionally when no one else was really there fulfilling her emotional needs. And I thought that was really romantic and sweet, and it was just really great to watch. Get yourself a Charlie Lastra. Number 8, a book that made you cry. I know I have talked about this one like a bunch, only in this video especially, but this book, One True Loves, had me sobbing. I could not stop crying. It was just, especially when in the very beginning when Jesse went missing originally, and I just pictured like losing my boyfriend and like him going missing, that was just, it really hit me. And the whole book itself really hit me, and I was just crying like the whole time. It was so good. Like, if there's one thing that I want you to take away from this video, is to please read One True Loves. It's so good. And number 9 is a book that made you happy. So I have a couple answers for this. Starting off, the Heartstopper series is the most wholesome series I've ever read. It filled me with so much joy. I just could not stop reading it. When I bought the first one, I read it right there sitting in the Barnes & Noble cafe, just all the way through. It was so good. Just all 4 books are amazing, and I can't wait for the 5th book to come out. I can't wait. I'm so sad it's going to be the last one, but hopefully we'll have the TV show, and they'll keep doing different seasons of that, so we'll have that as well. Yeah, Heartstopper definitely makes me so deliriously happy. And also Bridgerton, this book made me really happy. I just really enjoyed the romance. This is the Viscount Who Loved Me, the 2nd book. I just really enjoyed the romance. I love enemies to lovers. It's my favorite trope. And it also makes me think of the TV show, which made me incredibly happy as well. So yeah, those are the 2 books, or the series and the book, that made me very happy. And number 10, most beautiful cover. That would have to go to Wilder Girls by Rory Power. It is just such a beautiful cover. The cover is the reason I bought it in the first place. It just really pulled me in, with the flowers on her face and the way her face is kind of cut up, and just the glossiness of the cover too. So that's my most beautiful cover. And 11, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? So I have 2 books that I really want to read. The first one is another Taylor Jenkins Reid book. It's The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I got this for Hanukkah last year, and I still haven't read it. It's the only Taylor Jenkins Reid book that I own that I haven't read. I've read Daisy Jones, and I've read One True Loves, but this is the one I haven't read yet. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I'm just a little tentative to pick it up because I'm just worried it's not going to live up to the expectations that I have for it, because I've just heard so many good things. So I'm a little worried about that, but I still want to finish it by the end of this year. I just want to really read it. And I've heard it also has queer representation, which I love as well. And another book, I've been reading this book for like 4 months now, maybe even longer, is the 5th Harry Potter book, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I just cannot get through it. It's so long, and I think it's about 870 pages. I have about 300 pages left, maybe a little more, 350. And I know that's like the size of a normal book, but it's just so hard for me to get through it. And it's really funny because it's actually the 5th Harry Potter movie is my favorite movie, or one of them. So it's just surprising to me how much this book has been a struggle for me to get through, but it really has. So I'm hoping to get that done by the end of the year too. And I'm thinking I can do it. I just have to start actually picking it up and reading it again. So yeah, that was the mid-year book freakout tag. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure to follow my Instagram, Sophie_Eliana Reads. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!